Yeah, this is an article from CinemaBlend, who I really, as much as I kind of tend to think that a lot of like these articles like from these like AV Club and CinemaBlend, they always come across kind of like elitist, hoity-toity.
Hoity-toity.
I love that word, those words. But I love a lot of their articles. I actually end up liking more than I feel like I would have before we were doing this, because they give me more to think about, and even if I don't always agree with what they're saying or what they're advocating for. This article is from CinemaBlend. It says Scream confirms another intriguing connection to Wes Craven's original movie. The new Scream movie is going to be super connected to the 1996 original. For the past few years, it's been a great time to be a horror fan. The genre's renaissance is still going strong, with the next highly anticipated release being the new Scream movie this January. And the new sequel recently confirmed another intriguing connection to Wes Craven's original movie. Let's break it all down. So it says the new Scream movie will be helmed by Ready or Not's Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillett. I made my comments on that before about that. I usually don't trust dual director teams, but we'll give them a break on this one.
It might be good.
Filling Wes Craven's shoes is not easy to do. Very difficult. It says, marking the first installment of the franchise, hitting theaters since Wes Craven's death. But it seems that the duo are making the new sequel intimately connected to the original, featuring the trio of OG heroes and Stu's house in Woodsboro as a major setting. And it's been revealed that there is a tie to Jamie Kennedy's character, Randy. Now, if I remember correctly, the final scene in the movie from the original, it's on this farmhouse, which is one of my favorite scenes. The final shot of this movie, as the camera, it's a dolly. I'm sorry, not a dolly. It's a crane shot of Gail walking back into the house after just going through everything, and she's about to report on the crime she was just a part of. Holy conflict of interest. And it pans out, and there's this great shot of the sun rising over the valley, they're in California, right?
Yeah.
And there's this great shot of this house, and that shot has lived with me to this day. I still think about that shot in that movie sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see if this is that same house from the end of the movie.
Nope, they moved out.
They better not have.
They moved out and live in Calabasas
makes
now.
Perfect sense if Stu's family had to find out that their son is a serial killer in Woodsboro, and then the family's going to become, pariahs for the community. It would make sense that they move out, but my guess is they're not going to do that. So it says, the latest update comes from a video on the new Scream Tie-Ins TikTok account. In the clip, members of Woodsboro High Film Club confirmed that newcomers Chad and Mindy Meeks Martin, played by Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown, respectively, are actually Randy's nephew and niece. It should be interesting to see how the dynamic of the story plays out in the new Scream sequel, and how Randy's family continues on after his shocking death in Scream 2. They do this because Randy's sister makes an appearance in Scream 3. They actually had what I thought at the time was a really horrible way of including Jamie Kennedy in the third Scream movie, but now that I see it later, it's genius, in my opinion. Basically, his sister has a videotape that she plays for Sydney and Dewey and Gail, and it lists the rules for a trilogy that he made before he died in the second Scream movie, and recorded it on video. And when I saw that growing up, I was like, oh my god, that's so awful. But when I watch it back now, I think it was actually really genius. And it says, not much is known about Randy's home life, but we did meet one member of his family after his death. Character actress Heather Matarazzo played Randy Meeks' teenage sister Martha in Scream 3. It was really out of left field that she appears on screen and Sydney goes, Martha, as if we're supposed to know who the hell Martha is. And then they have to reveal
it's Martha from the Brady Bunch.
They have to reveal that Martha is Randy's sister, but it's played as if we know who that is, but we don't until they explain it. Delivering his posthumous message to Sydney and company. Could this mean that the Princess Diaries actress might be back for a surprise appearance in 2022 in the 2022 sequel? Only time will tell. I think that would be very cool to bring her back. That's a deep enough cut. They should bring back the cameraman from Scream 2, who is to this day the smartest person to ever enter a horror movie. Basically, this cameraman, he's Gail's cameraman in Scream 2, and halfway through, he just leaves.
Oh, really?
He just leaves. He's like, I'm out of here. People are dying. I'm out of here. And to this day, the smartest guy ever. And then after the killings are done, at the end of the movie, he comes back and he goes, hey, Gail, I thought we'd get the story just like the old days. And it's
everybody died already.
Yeah. So basically, he's like, he was smart. He was probably the smartest one out of all the movies. He just left town.
I just don't remember it. I remember watching I watched 3 of the Scream movies. I don't remember that part.
Oh, it's so good. He's just like, he shows back up at the end, and I was like, maybe he was the killer. Maybe he was the killer all along, and we just never found out.
Ooh.
That would be cool.
He was like, I have to disappear for a bit. Why? Don't worry about it. I just need to grab this real quick.
Yeah, they should have brought him back for Scream 3 to be Roman's partner, but they didn't. So the cast and crew of Scream have been carefully guarding the movie's secrets, which should allow for the twists and turns to be all the more powerful when it hits theaters in just a few weeks. It said, aside from being related to Jamie Kennedy's beloved character Randy, Jasmine Savoy Brown's character Mindy Meeks Martin, also notable for being a queer woman of color.
Come on.
Identity politics. We don't do identity politics here. It's stupid. That is not important to the story.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie. It's a bunch of teenagers.
It's like Jason.
Yeah, it's a bunch of teenagers that are going to die at the hands of a serial killer. I don't care about the sexuality or the race of characters like that. I hate it when they virtue signal on stuff like this. But you know, that's I expect it so much now that it doesn't. I'm numb to it.
You're unfazed.
It's literally, you can feel the studio patting themselves on the back.
Yeah, for sure.
But Jasmine Savoy Brown, let's look her up. I'm just curious. Let's look her up.
She looks familiar.
She does.
She looks really familiar. Maybe she's from one of our favorite shows.
Well, her name came up first when you type in Jasmine. So, okay, let's see. $10 bill, Mouthpiece, Scream, Yellow Jackets. Okay, so that's very popular right now. Yellow Jackets is
What's
in right
Yellow
now.
Jackets?
It's what my friend Vanessa's been watching. It's the one about a wildly talented high school soccer team. Yeah, it's the cannibalistic girls soccer team because they get abandoned in the woods or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, so they survive a plane crash. And then they have to become cannibals or something like that. But
you don't need to resort to cannibalism. What's wrong with people?
But that show is very popular right now. She was in Lego Star Wars. She was in For the People, Spider-Man, the Miles Morales video game, The Leftovers, Grey's Anatomy. So she's got a long list of credits here. I'm sure she's a very, very talented actress.
She looks really familiar.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. I love how they just threw that in there as if that's important to the movie. It's not important to the movie. So we will see how it comes out. I still do believe, my personal belief, that one of the 3 from the original trilogy will be made one of the killers.
It's the cameraman, like you said.
No, I think it'll be Dewey. I think it'll be Dewey or Gale.
It might be Gail.
I think it could be Gail.
You think so?
I think either desperation to remain famous or relevant, or if it's Dewey, it's he's been driven nuts by everything that's happened because of how much has happened in his life. I mean, the fact that all 3 of these people haven't been driven nuts into lives of serial killers is incredible, given all they've lived through, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Not very many horror franchises keep the same 3 leads through all the movies. And in fact, they were going to Sydney was supposed to die in Scream 4.
Yeah, but what happened?
They filmed. Did we already talk? We might have talked about this in a previous video.
Maybe.
Basically, they filmed she ends up in the hospital, but that hospital scene was tacked on when test audiences found when they found that test audiences didn't want her to die. So she actually lives by
her audience demand for her.
Yeah. So basically, the killer comes back. I won't spoil who the killer was in Scream 4, but the killer comes back to finish the job in the hospital, and then Sydney gets her, surprises her. So that's what. But I think in this one, it's a very strong possibility that either Sydney or one of the other 2 either die, or one of the 3 is the killer. So we will see. I am probably more excited about this than I am about what's the other one? The one you're really excited about besides Morbius. There was another one that you're very excited about.
I don't remember. Oh, Uncharted.
Yes, I'm more excited about this than Uncharted, but that's because this gets me in the member berries. I grew up with.
You remember this?
I grew up with the Scream franchise, so this is as somebody who's not a huge horror fan, I love these movies, so it should be very interesting. We will see how it goes, and I think more than anything, I do want to see. This is one of those situations where I would be okay with some changes. Like, I don't think they need to keep the same formula after 5 movies. I think in a franchise like this, they can change it up. They can either kill off the main character,
kill her off,
or they can make one of the other two the killer and have them die, but Sydney lives. So it would be a drastic change, but I think it's something worth looking into for this one. And also, without Wes Craven, I feel like that's more likely.
What if Sydney became the killer?
Well, I'm saying that's possible. I think her or one of the other two, I think it's very possible that happens without Wes Craven there to kind of like, don't do this to my story. I feel like these guys are yeah, I think these two are more, the two directors are more likely to want to take risks with that. So we will see how it goes.
Yeah.
So, you're not very excited about it, but I am.
No, I'm done with Scream. Make something new.
It's from well before your time anyways.
Yeah, but I watched the movies. I didn't enjoy them.
Is there any horror movies that you do like? Because you're like me, you're not a huge horror fan.
No, not really. What movie did I watch as a grown-up? Because I was like, okay.
As a grown-up?
Because, like, when I was younger, I avoided all horror movies because I didn't really enjoy them. And as a grown-up, I don't really like horror. I'm okay with them. I tolerate them just enough where I'm like, okay. But I won't, like, rewatch them. But I did rewatch one of the horror movies. I forgot what it was. It
cool story, bro.
I know. It's going to come to me. Oh, I think it was a Southeastern...
Did you see Train to Busan?
Yeah, I talked about it.
Yeah, okay. That's I mean, I don't
zombie movies.
Zombie's not really horror, but
no.
Horror-esque.
Zombie movies don't really scare me. I just think they're funny sometimes. Like, my favorite zombie movie is Zombieland.
Woody Harrelson. Good choice.
I love Woody.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.